Can you imagine leaving everything you knew in your homeland to fly halfway around the world with your 6 kids, pregnant with the 7th, and nothing except your suitcases? Well, that's exactly what my next guest did. And there's a way to learn how the story unfolded in a really unique way. Helen Smallbone, thank you for joining us on the Sami Cohn Show. Absolutely. Okay, so spoiler alert, you're here. You're the mother of 7 amazing kids, but notably some Grammy Award winners. You've got Rebecca St. James, the brothers of For King & Country, Joel and Luke. And now there's a story about your lives. Can you just, what does this mean to all of you right now, and why now to tell this story?
Why now? That's a good question. I think we've been telling parts of our story. We had a very dramatic story. We're Australian by birth, but 32 years ago, we lost everything, had to make major life change, came here to America looking for a new job. How many immigrants do that anyway, looking for a new life? We were pretty crazy because, as you said, I had 6 kids, pregnant with number 7. We've told elements of our story a lot, and people always say, "Oh gosh, you need to write a book." And I actually was, I did do that a couple of years ago. But it still continued. And then one of our sons, Luke, who's in For King Country, he told a lot of our story each concert as a part of his compassion talk, with compassion as child sponsorship. And in doing it, people were like, "Gosh, you need to write a book." I mean, they're pretty incredible stories.
They are.
And so he thought, it's time, maybe we actually go one better and make a movie.
And not only did you make a movie, I mean, this, again, no spoilers, you have a very talented family that not just from, on the stage, but behind the scenes, lighting, directing. Joel actually co-wrote and directed this movie.
And played David.
And played your, what was that like to watch your son play your husband? Can we talk about that?
Pretty crazy. He had a photo of David holding our 3-year-old son that he took the imaging of, so he has a beard and his hair's much done the same. So he looks different to what he does in For King Country, which is good. But it definitely was a challenge to see. I didn't realise even that he looked like David, but he actually does play him quite well.
Very well, from my perspective, I mean, the movie is phenomenal. We'll talk about that in just a second, but Mom to Mom, we were talking a little bit before we started rolling, but how do you have the strength when I'm going to come to tears thinking about it when I think about that playground scene in particular, and for you to have to hold all those emotions. By the grace of God, I understand, but there's still a human element to being able to look your children in the eye and say, "We've got this," and believe it. Where did you draw that from?
Probably, I mean, definitely as a foundation of God. We couldn't have done this journey if we did not know that He was with us, that He was walking it, that this was His plan, that He was opening opportunities. And then secondly, we had each other. And we are a large family. There was a lot of us to be had. And I think a lot of times in our weaknesses, actually kids they can say the right thing. They can they can love on you and help you believe in yourself even more. And we were a unit. Like David wanted the kids to go to school when we got here. The school year had already started because we didn't get settled in Nashville till September. And I just said, "David, I can't do it. I have to have them with me." And in doing that, that was a part of the strength that we had, because everything else had been taken away. All our family, all our friends, we had nothing, all our stuff. So it was definitely a new start.
It's incredible. I mean, there's so many stories within the story I would like to get to, but something that's unique is that there's also an album that's being released alongside the movie, I think, inspired by the soundtrack. I mean, Michael W. Smith plays in his roles so there's really this throwback not only to when Rebecca first came on the scene, but also to have the brothers of For King & Country do these. What was that like to hear the juxtaposition of that music?
I think to see the influences of music on them over those years has been special. We were in Christian music back in Australia. So David's been in Christian music since '77. That was the first time Rebecca, as a babe in arms, went to her first concert in the Sydney Opera House, and it was a Larry Norman concert. So we've definitely done the gamut of Christian music. And one of my memories is actually Joel as a toddler at 2 or 3 in the living room on the floor staring at the striper to Hell with the Devil cover, and the was the Command one, the yellow and black striped one. He was just staring because they had such visual covers, and he was just. It was so. Now they're doing To Hell with the Devil as part of one of their songs, and I'm
it's
just like
surreal. Well, again, there's so many stories we wish we could tell. Make sure that you see Unsung Hero, the movie, on April 26th. Get the soundtrack as well. Helen Smallbone, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Sami.
Yes.